Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and today we're going to be delving into the weird world of plug-and-play games. Plug-and-play games are an oddity in the world of gaming. Saying that they're official doesn't really feel that appropriate, but you gotta give them credit that they do exist. Thankfully, though, they're not as bad as something that Tiger Games would have put out. Their true rise to popularity was in the early 2000s with a company called Jakk, responsible for some of the more memorable plug-and-play games. These included things from the Marvel franchise, Scooby-Doo, Star Wars, Shrek, and the subject of today's review, SpongeBob. Yep, this is SpongeBob Plug-and-Play. Most of these kind of plug-and-plays are built like a Mondo Bizarro Atari controller, just a box with a button and a joystick. And let's get this obvious gag out of the way.
Sexual innuendo.
Only difference between these and this is that the Atari controller hooks up to the console. With these, you just gotta hook it to any kind of AV out, whether it be on your TV, your DVD player, or your VHS. How do the actual games play? Well, let's find out. This is SpongeBob Plug-and-Play. Okay, 5 games in one. First up, SpongeBob's Bubble Pop. Yep, it's basically Breakout with SpongeBob. This is something that you'll notice with a lot of plug-and-play games. They often reuse gameplay from old-school arcade games, and you're probably wondering why. Well, it's pretty easy. They're easy to program. So yeah, you play as SpongeBob throwing a ball that pops bubbles. Ball touches the ground, you lose a life. You're given 5 lives, and if you lose them all, game over. Thankfully, the game does give you the option of starting the level over, so that's good. As for the gameplay, it's fine. I always like playing retro classic ports like this. My criticism with this game and some of the other games that are on here is the sound quality. The sound effects leave a lot to be desired. I mean, when you play the original versions of these games, it makes sense, because they came out in the late 70s or early 80s. They could have easily taken a soundbite from the show and just watered it down while programming, or at the very least they could have programmed music for more than just level transitions and death screens. Second is Sandy's Surf Adventure. It seems that an evil bullworm and his minions are attacking Bikini Bottom and Sandy has to stop them. The gameplay here is some kind of Gradius-style horizontal shooter. Throw projectiles at enemies and score points. This one's mediocre. It's not horrible, but it's a little too slow for my taste. When you get hit once, you have to start the level all the way at the beginning again. Also, I had no idea about this when I started playing, but there's about 4 levels in this, with bosses and everything. But don't get too excited, because this is the final screen you get when you win. Huh. Well, alright, next game. Next game, Invasion of the Hooks.
The hooks! The hooks!
Have SpongeBob throw Krabby Patties at hooks that try to take his friends. Don't ask how they're able to hook creatures in the head and still have them live. Wow, Wiz, what kind of low have you hit? You're questioning the logic of a plug-and-play game about a talking kitchen sponge that lives in a pineapple under the ocean? This one is pretty basic. Basic to the point where it's actually kinda lame. Yeah, nothing to really say about this one. Just throw Krabby Patties, run left, right, middle. That's basically it. On to the next one. Patrick in the Maze. Pretty much what it says on the tin. You play as Patrick running around in a maze. You dodge giant killer sea urchins and jellyfish, which you can catch with a jellyfish net. From what I can tell, you have to go around and get the other SpongeBob main characters. You can advance through the levels by doing mini-games, often involving numbers and clams, don't ask. And it's about the same quality as Sandy's Surf Adventure. Not bad, but just not really my thing. Now on to my personal favorite, Super Chum Bucket. You play as SpongeBob running around the chum bucket. You jump on platforms and dodge enemies and obstacles. Work your way up to the top left or top right of the screen to get plankton. It's basically a SpongeBob version of the Donkey Kong arcade game. The game is difficult to the point where you want to keep playing it, and the fact that you get continues is great, so you don't have to start all the way at the beginning of the game again. I like this one so much that I actually completed it. So that was SpongeBob Plug-and-Play, and while it's not great, it's certainly a lot better than Ed, Edd n Eddy by Tiger Games. Whether or not you like the game selection is entirely up to you. Some games I found interesting, other ones I didn't, some I thought had not enough content, some I thought was just okay, and of course I really liked Super Chum Bucket because I personally liked the gameplay and level design. It's not perfect, of course. Like I said, the sound quality is a bit of an annoyance, and yeah, it is kinda lazy for these plug-and-play games to just recycle arcade games because they're recognizable and easy to make. With all my negativity out the way, I can't entirely say that I hate this thing. I mean, it was a huge part of my childhood growing up, and with all the elements of good and bad put together, it's just kind of meh in one final package. I'm the Media Whiz, because one art form wasn't enough.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Absorbent and yellow and pouring the heat. If nautical nonsense be something you wish, then drop on the deck and flop like a fish.